Mark Schlereth still with us on First Things First. He literally can't get enough. More Giants drama. Head coach Ben McAdoo suspended Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, claiming the cornerback left the team's facility on Wednesday after being made inactive for the upcoming game against the Broncos. But Rodgers-Cromartie claims it happened the other way around and that he was suspended and then decided to leave. It's a classic he said scenario. Mark, in either case, has Ben McAdoo lost control of this team? How bad is it? It
certainly looks bad. It's interesting that when you're winning, winning is, as they say, that great deodorant. You can overcome a lot of issues. When you're losing, all those issues come to the surface from a management standpoint. And it's really interesting because players have this ability, almost instinctual ability, to look at somebody. Like, I could look at another player and go, that dude can play. And I can look at one guy and go, yeah, he'll never make it. And you're right about 99% of the time. And when it comes to coaches, you really find out a lot about who your coach is when things start to fall apart. And this goes all the way back a couple of weeks ago. Remember when he talked about his quarterback not getting a snap? And they ended up running out of time on the clock.
Sure. Was that week number 2?
It might have been week 2. I look at that, and at that time,
you had an issue with it then.
Yes, I had an issue with it then. Like, you don't do that. Get the play in quicker. The great coaches have this ability behind closed doors to lay it out and tell you exactly what's going on. But in front of the media, they will never, ever call you out as a player. You're the one that's got to go out there and execute. You're the one that's got to go out there and do your job. And so these things, these small things that seem like throwaway things, bother football players. They bother guys in the locker room. And so to answer your question, yeah, I think he's losing this team.
Is there a way to recover from this? Once you've, quote, lost your team, and we know, we usually hear is coaches lose their team and then they're gone. Oh, at the end, Tom Coughlin, then he was gone. At the end, this one in Philadelphia, then he was gone. Is there a way to get it back? You're only 5 games into this season, or is this pretty much the start of the end for Ben McAdoo?
Are they suddenly going to be able to block people? Are they suddenly going to be able to run the ball? Are they suddenly going to find and develop a couple of wide receivers?
So shy of winning, no.
If they don't flip it around and go, win 9 straight, no, absolutely not.
The feeling to me, and this is from talking to some players on the team around Tom Coughlin, was a lot of guys didn't like Tom Coughlin, but all the guys respected him.
Sure.
They didn't necessarily like him, but he commanded the respect. Man, I get the opposite feeling surrounding Ben McAdoo. I think people like him. I mean, maybe not Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie seems to have an issue with him, but I think most guys like him. I don't know that he commands the respect in the room. And when you're 11-5, like, maybe it's not a big deal. But when the season has fallen apart, and it's not one that anyone, even if you didn't expect them to be really good, I don't think people expected them to be one of the last winless teams in football. That's when you have to command the respect of the locker room, and I don't know how he gets that back. And I personally just don't believe simply playing or coaching for the Giants and the Mara family means that you have this incredibly long leash. Yes, I understand Tom Coughlin did, and obviously Bill Parcells did. He's one of the greatest coaches ever. And I know Jim Fossil. He pushed all his chips in the middle of the table, but then they made the Super Bowl, and that bought him some time. But Ray Handley got 2 years.
Well,
right?
They made a mistake.
Say it again?
They made a mistake.
In hiring him?
Yes.
Okay, but so my question is, do you think that that's what ownership is saying right now? Did we make a mistake here in hiring Ben McAdoo?
Well, when you look at the product on the field, it's either you made a mistake in the players or you made a mistake in the coach. But people that who they think they're great football fans, they should have seen this coming. This is not new. This didn't just start happening. This didn't start in the 2017 season. It didn't even start last year in the 2016 season. You know when it happened? People don't want to say it, but Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin lost control of this team. Now, what they decided to do, they decided to stay inside the family and hire a guy that was in the building. That maybe because we got a quarterback, we got a good young receiver, our defense is not that good, so they went out and purchased a defense, which does not, you cannot purchase respect. You cannot purchase camaraderie. You cannot purchase, I love this guy, I'll do whatever I can for the next guy. You can't purchase that. These guys are all individual hired guns. Olivia Vernon, DRC, all these dudes, man, they was out for themselves. Now, they collectively put it together last year as a defense, but they have never been a team. Last year, they were dysfunctional. But we were able to put a point on it because, you know something? It's the kid with the yellow hair's fault. Oh, they going to South Beach. Oh, that's stupid. They don't care. They were dysfunctional last year. They were 3 or 4 plays away from being 8-8 last year. But why? We didn't notice. So now everything blows up this year. Been like, oh, my God, people are picking them for the Super Bowl. This is an above-average football team with a bad offensive line, no running game, and now their star player is out for the season. So there's been plenty of dysfunction to go around in the Giants locker room for the last several years. It just didn't happen with Ben McAdoo the last year and a half. Go ahead.
I just think it's interesting. I think you bring up a great point. And I go back to Tom Coughlin on the sideline in the Norman Beckham fight.
Thank you.
And
he was right there.
I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed.
That ain't the Tom Coughlin we know.
I was embarrassed as a former football player. You know what I was really the most embarrassed about? Because I understand that tempers flare. I was embarrassed that the coaching staff and Tom Coughlin didn't do anything about it. They enabled it. They enabled the behavior. And then you bring a good point that I hadn't even thought of. They just hired within.
And they kept the defensive coordinator.
It's all been.
Was already there.
This is the way business is conducted. Sometimes Bill Parcells used to say this. He goes, when you fire a guy, you've got to not only fire that guy, you got to fire everybody in the building, and then you got to change the carpet, right? I mean, you got to get rid of everything. You got to gut it and start over. And they didn't, because they do have a couple of star players, and they have the quarterback, and they have Odell Beckham, and they thought that they could put a Band-Aid on some of the internal issues. They thought they could do this year
basically what they did last year.
Right.
And the truth is, if the ball did drop a couple different ways, if the Eagles weren't trying to hit a 61-yard field goal, I mean, maybe the Giants have a couple wins. Maybe we don't see how dysfunctional this really is.
They were going to see it. DRC walked off the field on them on Sunday. Okay, that's not just something you're going to be able to hide, all right? That was going to eventually come out. All right. This is a very dysfunctional family.
All right, let's make you happy, CC. Time now for some Hall of
We're going to try. It ain't been real happy around here today.
Why?
Well, I ain't going to mention these hands.
I don't know what I'd do.
Push yourself. Fires it deep. What a catch! Greatest catch I've ever seen.
All right, boys.
Oh, my gosh, it's the babies. Give me the babies.
Look what we found. Just take it.
Oh, my God. Flag football. Interception. That's J.J. Watt. Look at him. Homeboy's rushing. He gets through the D tackle. He catches it in the air. Catches it in the air from the court. Give me that, son. All right? You need to be playing some tackle football. All right? The other guy's playing flag. I'm getting ready to play some tackle. Sign him up, Mom. Don't be scared. Get a helmet on him. Love it. Great reaction. You can't teach that. We need more kids out playing football in the streets, participating. Very good. That's 5 out of 5. Give me that. Defensive guy.
Just take it.
Defensive line.
My quote of the day. Look at them babies.
Oh, it's all about the babies.
See, you get cute. You want more. You want more kids. Let's just talk about it.
What about the babies?
Mark, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Pleasure.
It's always so much fun.
Dismiss injustice, baby.
Yes, baby.
All right.
Coming up next, I accidentally might have jinxed LeBron James.
quiet.
How should the Cavs deal with his injury, and will Nick ever forgive me? That is next.